Well, greetings everyone, and welcome once again to another Wednesday night right here at the Sports Crib. I see my publicity hounds are here in the queue already. I know I'm late, guys. It's okay. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. I'm here. I'm here. Okay. Let's see. I see Dave's here. Reggie's here. Let me get these guys up here in the queue before I get fired. How you doing, Dave? What's up tonight, my man?
Hey, doing okay. Got some bad news though. No Sue's corner tonight.
Oh man, I'm sorry, Reg. I know. Hey,
Man, I was about to log back off, man. I was like, I don't know if this thing is happening today. Well, I'm glad to see you guys.
Yeah, Sue's a little bit under the weather, so she said
unfortunate.
she take a night off.
Oh well, hey. Looks like we might have it. Might be a little short and sweet tonight. It might fit right within Reggie's parameters here. I don't know what's but
very nice.
I guess we should mention baseball. It's just starting, but already we have the man, Ohtani, already 10-10. You guys think he'll beat his 50-50 that he did last year? What do you think, Dave?
I think he might come close with homers. I think he's on track for 46 homers and 46 stolen bases, and I think that he'll probably sustain this pace with home runs. But he had I think it was shoulder surgery on his labrum in the fall, and so I don't know if he's going to be taking as many risks running the bases. And then the other thing is, if he starts pitching later this season, that might eat into his stolen base attempts. So I'm saying that he'll come close with home runs, probably like somewhere between 45 and 50, but I think the stolen bases are going to take a dip. It'll be more like about 40 stolen bases.
I think with that young protege that they got in, it might, unless it becomes a necessity for Ohtani to pitch, I think his pitching days, I won't say are over, but down to a minimum, I think, especially while he's in pursuit. I mean, I think that he could be in pursuit of more records, which means more money. I mean, it's not like he doesn't need another bag, but I think I'm kind of with you, Dave. I don't think it's so much because of the pitching, but I think it'll just be the continuous wear and tear, and I think the rules might make it a little bit harder for him to steal as many bases this year.
He's got bigger bases, right?
Yeah, well, that is true. They are bigger bases, and if he gets on in the ninth inning, he could get on second. I mean, so it's possible. But Reggie, what's your thoughts here?
I'm gonna try to hope it into existence. I don't know if he will. Is he back to pitching? I don't know. I thought the pitching had kind of sailed. Like, as far as, is he back to pitching again?
He's not yet. Not yet.
He's not pitching yet. No, because
I think when it does, it return. I'm kind of in agreement with you. I don't think it'll return to the same degree as it was before. I don't think he's going to be pitching a lot.
Reggie, what's up with your Braves down there? It seems to be some controversy happening down there among the Braves within the teepee. What's going on?
I think that we're just so used to the team. It's kind of like the team in Atlanta that we usually don't have to worry about. So you're just so used to them performing. And the fact they started this year, I mean, to me, it's not really that big of a shock. I don't think we have Strider back, and I don't think I gotta look and see. I think Acuna may have just came back. I gotta look and see, and check that out. But I don't even think we're back up to full expectation health, in my opinion, to where you could have extreme expectation. I just think that it's a situation where, in Atlanta, we're just so used to the Braves performing year in and year out. We haven't had that thus far this year.
Dave, what's up with Mr. Skynes? He's what? 0-3. Is it against the Cardinals or is it the Cubs that he just faced?
I think it was the
Cardinals,
St.
wasn't it?
Louis, the Cardinals. Yeah, he's 3-4 overall, but he only gave up 2 runs. And again, I mean, they didn't invest in lumber. And so if they're not hitting behind him, then unfortunately his talents are wasted. If you only give up 2 runs in a game, you should be winning those more often than not. And right now he's 3-4, and the Pirates are just not looking good.
What's his ERA, Dave?
Who's Gaines?
Mm-hmm.
It's up. It's 277.
I mean, it's still not bad.
Which is not bad. I mean, he had one game where he gave up like 5 runs. He really got dinged. I think it was the Cubs that might have did that, but 277 is it's not where it was under 2, like last year, but
beastly.
He just doesn't have the support around him.
Yeah, that does seem to be the problem when you talk about the Pirates. No support. So a couple little things to talk about here in college football. Let's see. Let's start with Clemson and Notre Dame. They have announced that they have a 12-year football schedule agreement. What's your thoughts on it, gentlemen? Does you think this might mean that Notre Dame is leaning toward, taking away that independent tag, and SEC? Maybe it's a start. What do you think?
The writing's on the wall. I think they see it. It's just kind of like them inching towards. That would be interesting. I didn't see the details on what exactly this agreement entailed. I'm not sure. Is it just that they'll play each other over the next 12 years? Is that kind of what
12-year home and home? So every other year they'll switch venues for the next 12 years.
Okay. I mean, I think it's like inching towards what I feel is inevitability. In my opinion, I mean, they've had a nice run. But I think it's kind of inevitable that the direction they're going, and this kind of signals that they're headed there.
What do you think, Dave?
Well, I mean, they already have an agreement to play so many ACC games a year. I think that's still in effect. And what this does is it locks them into one of the better ACC teams, right? So,
interesting.
Which is good, because then they're not going to be forced to play the smaller market teams. I think that they're required to play 3 ACC games a year. But what this does for Notre Dame is it gives them a good opposition, and maybe if they have a couple other teams that they can have guarantees with, well, then that keeps the level of competition up for them to maintain their independence. Now, for Clemson, the beauty of it is that Notre Dame is a huge draw, and so guaranteed that they got a game every year where they're going to maximize the television viewership and everything. So I think that there's a good. I think that the only bad that could come out of it is if the Notre Dame fans seem to follow them regardless of how they do. But if all of a sudden Clemson would fall apart, then that might hurt Notre Dame a little bit. But I think Clemson is in a good seat here. They got a premier game every year for the next 12 years.
And also, if the games get good, guys, it will create a rivalry. If the games do get good, and you know that, and it kind of goes back and forth, like they won the last one, it becomes something that fans do look forward to watching. So I think that,
and they did have a little bit of a competition. Like during the COVID, they played twice, where I think Notre Dame beat them during the regular season. And then this is when Notre Dame was somehow playing in the ACC championship, I think. And then Clemson came back and beat them the second time. And actually, I think Clemson in the last few years has a winning record over Notre Dame. So it could be, like you say, could lead to a good, a nice competition.
How you doing, Don?
I just enjoyed the conversation. Listen to y'all talk.
Somebody.
Well, what's your thought on that Clemson Notre Dame 12-year agreement?
I like it. You get two like blue blood programs to play. I love it. I think it's great for the sport. What's amazing though is with NIL, you might have a guy play for Clemson 1 year, and then transfer to Penn State, and then transfer to Michigan, and then transfer to Notre Dame. I mean, you could have something like that, something crazy. But yeah, it's a. I like it. Anytime you watch someone play like top-notch competition versus playing like, the poor ladies of Sacred Heart or whatever, that's good.
Yeah, now those little colleges won't get that big payday that they used to. So
right.
But hey, Texas starts off the openings. They're opening at Ohio State in Columbus. The number 1 versus number 2. I don't think that's ever happened for opening game. I mean,
just get it out the way right now, right?
Get out.
Speaking of that, Don, you have a gentleman named Arch Manning.
Yes, we do.
Do you think how long do you think he's going to be a Longhorn, especially if like Texas is almost they're predicted to at least get to the title game next year. If he wins the title, are you guys going to be looking for a quarterback?
Well, so I was listening to my Longhorn podcast, and they brought that exact same issue. Arch plans on being at Texas till 2027. If they win the national championship, that might change. But the Manning family's been very adamant that they wanted him to sit behind Quinn and learn. He's the only like 5-star quarterback from that class that's with the same team he signed with. And he's he loves being a Longhorn. I don't know if I knew this, but he has a little brother who's on campus. He was his center at that school in New Orleans.
Wow.
He's I think a Sigma Chi. He's a frat boy. He's not playing football, but I mean, they did a whole interview with his little brother at the UT. They both want to be Longhorns growing up, and he's enjoying it. I mean, and the thing about NIL, yeah, you can make millions of dollars playing pro football, but you can make millions of dollars playing at UT. I mean, it's not about the money with him. It's not about the money. It's about the experience, and that I like that.
Oh, okay, sounds good. To be or not to be, college football analyst Joel Klatt names Penn State as the best team entering the 2025 season. Dave?
You don't seem convinced.
I'm kind of shaking my head. I'd
Well,
look
I
at
mean,
Texas.
look at all these
I would look
starters
at
you have coming
Texas,
back. Look at the
Ohio
starters you have
State.
coming back.
Look at 4 or 5 teams in the SEC: Texas, Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama, and Clemson. All 5 of those teams could argue that one, they had a better recruiting year than Penn State. All 5 of those teams are pretty deep, and most of those teams didn't lose as many people in the transfer portal as Penn State did. And so I think Penn State is up there, but they had a good recruiting class, but it wasn't a top 10 recruiting class. They had no 5-star recruits. They had 2 guys at tight end that were finally at the end. They said, "Okay, you're 5-star," but no consensus 5-star recruits. So their recruiting class is probably somewhere between the 10th and the 20th best in the country. And then, they did add some wide receivers in their transfer portal, which they needed, but they also lost 3 wide receivers in the transfer portal, including the wide receiver that gained the most receiving yards for them. So I would put Penn State at like maybe number 6 coming into this season. I think that they're a top 10 team, but I'm not going to say that they're the best team in the country. You got Texas with what's that quarterback's name? March Manning.
that guy there, they got, yeah, absolutely.
And you got Drew Allar, and now Ohio State. What's going to kind of hold them back maybe is who's going to be replacing Will Howard, and that's going to be the question with Ohio State. And but I think that Penn State has a good team. Drew Allar is not a bad quarterback. He'll be coming out in the draft next year. It'll be interesting to see, does he go in the first round or does he have a swoon like Shedeur Sanders did? I don't. It's hard to tell how the NFL general managers will evaluate him as a quarterback. And then the other thing for Penn State is they returned a lot of defenders. But how do you compensate for losing Abdul Carter? They're going to have they don't have another Abdul Carter on their team right now. And so they're going to have some of these returning defenders as a group collectively step up and try to fill the gap that he created when he left. So I think that Penn State's a good team. Am I here saying they're the best team in the country? No. I don't think it's. And I'll ask Don. Do you think Penn State is better than Texas?
No.
I mean, is Penn State really better than Georgia? I mean,
yeah, it's not something that we really have on the radar, to be honest with you. And Penn State is a kind of a team that kind of seems to kind of sneak onto the radar, but I don't. It's rare air for it to enter the season at this. I mean, this Joel Klatt's not a nobody. I mean, it's rare air to enter the season. I think Penn State number 1 for Joel Klatt, number 1 team.
Yeah. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I see them as maybe a number 6 team at this.
That's
point.
Still not bad.
Then we'll see. They should
bad.
be in the college football playoff, and then
anything can happen, man.
Well, speaking of anything happening, Reggie, what has to happen in Alabama this year? I'm sure.
I need to see the quarterback. Quarterback, to me, just quarterback play. And I feel we've been so blessed with great quarterbacks at Alabama. And Milroe was never really I was never really convinced that he was the guy there. So I'm interested to see who the next kid that plays, how he's going to look. But I think that's the biggest thing. And another thing, too, coming off of Saban's tenure, too, right? We're still coming to this is the second year off of Nick being gone. So we're still going to see some remnants of Nick's influence on the team. And I'm pretty sure there'll be others throughout for a lot longer period of time. But I think as we get further and further away from the Saban era, we can really see what's going on here.
Okay. We were talking last week about numbers, and Warren Moon, said it was okay for Cam to wear his number, but LT turned down Abdul. Abdul's still looking for a number because Phil Sims' family didn't want them to retire his number either. So we still don't
like
know.
why? I mean, just find the number that's not retired. I mean, that at this point, after the LT situation, guys, why run that back? I mean, after the LT situation, hey, maybe I just need to go pick a random number.
Well, 11 was his number.
I mean, it was his number elsewhere.
Right. It was the number at Penn State. Right. Okay. But anyway, so this week, Shador is decided that he was going to wear number 12.
Yeah.
After his mentor, Tom Brady. What's your thoughts here, gentlemen? Reggie, would you want your number attached to this shit show here? I mean,
it depends on how it goes. I mean, we still don't know. We still don't know. The thing is about this, and the most important thing for Shador was that you just got to get on a team. Brock will tell you that. You just got to get on a squad. You just got to get on a roster, and then anything can happen from there. So if he's terrible, of course, I don't think Tom Brady cares if some guy wearing number 12 is terrible. Like you're still Tom Brady. So I don't think you care that much. And if he's great, you know the kid, you like the kid already. And if he's great, I don't see any real issue with this. It's not like he's wearing it for the Patriots.
What do you think, Don?
You know what? The relationship between Brady and Shador, I mean, more power to them. If they want to wear each other's number or wear each other's jockstrap, it means nothing to me.
A lot different than a number. Wow.
Don just jumps us right into after.
Yeah. I mean, if they want to swap wives, I don't care. I mean,
goodness gracious,
get over with.
Are you that encouraging, Dave?
No, I'm like with Reggie. Find your spot on the team. They got 20 quarterbacks there.
Yes.
Whatever they have, but find your spot on the team, and the number will take care of itself.
Well, actually, they have 4. Mr. Massage, Joe Flacco. Who was the guy that the other quarterback?
Dylan Gabriel. Is Kenny Pickett still there?
Yeah,
Kenny Pickett.
That's 5. They got 5 with Shador. That's a starting 5, man. That's a absolute basketball team.
Well, we know that Mr. Massage will be out because of surgery, so he'll be on IR for the whole year. So, but in the meantime, are they going to carry 4 quarterbacks? I think we should be sending.
They're not going to carry 4 quarterbacks. I highly doubt that.
And I think we should be sending some feelers for Joe Flacco myself. And that's almost sacrilegious for a Steeler fan to say that.
Goodness gracious, man. Is that where we've gotten to now? Like you're sending out some feelers for Joe Flacco.
Well,
it's a depressing place to be, man. Like this time of the year, James. I'm just saying. It's like May. I'm supposed to be rosy this time of year, man.
Yeah, but right now we have 3 quarterbacks and have none. So
3.5, man. We got Aaron. I hear Aaron's still taking our calls, man. We're 3.5. 3.5.
Don, Jerry gets his wide receiver.
Yeah.
It might not have been the way that we thought it was going to be, but ESPN writer Donald Slavsky says that this trade makes Jerry's guys a contender. Don, do you agree?
No, I don't.
Goodness gracious.
it, it doesn't matter if you. I mean, it's always good to have. It's always good to have a receiver, but the Cowboys, they got to have someone who can protect the quarterback, and I think they addressed some of that in the draft. But you're depending on rookies to come through, their first year. Will it happen? Maybe. Who knows? Dak has to stay healthy. They have to establish a running game. So receivers, the least of their worries, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't. Did I haven't really heard anything about them replacing Dow, and he was the only 1,000-yard running back. Uh, I think did they let Emmett go?
Yeah, I believe they did, if I remember right.
And no word about Parsons yet, right?
They signed Parsons.
Did they sign Parsons? Did
I
they
believe.
find?
Yeah, I think so. I have to double check.
I have to look at that deal and see what it is.
I actually got I got distracted this week by the Popovich stuff, so we'll talk about that later. But I know that they did get Jaden Blue out of UT, and I read an article today that they're expecting him to be the starter. And I'm thinking, wow, Jaden Blue wasn't even the leading rusher on his team last year, and they're expecting him to start for the Cowboys. And he fumbles the ball. I mean, I think he's talented, but he has a fumble issues. He has fumbleitis. So we'll see how that goes. But I just think that they're putting their faith in the wrong area right now, and it will bite them in the ass when it's about 7 games into the season.
What do you think, Reggie? You got Pickens and CD now. They lost Gallup, but they do have a third. I forget who the third wide receiver is, but as Don says, that they have a little trouble at not just quarterback. We don't know what Dak's going to be like coming off his last season. Running back issues. What's your thoughts here? They did grab Pickett. What do you think about Pickett and CD running together there, Rich?
I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting for the fan base to watch. I kind of piggyback off what Don said in the sense of I don't know how much it changes fortunes, how many more games they win now because of it. You know what I mean? But I think it's an interesting watch for the fans. The situation in Pittsburgh was untenable. I didn't think he was going to stay there. It was hard to imagine that him and Metcalf were going to be on the roster together at the start of the season. So I kind of it wasn't unexpected. But it's hard to plug in George Pickens Cowboys and think that it just fixes what ails you. You know what I mean? Like now the team is just so much better. Dak's injury situation is serious, and he's making a ton of money. So they're going to kind of go as that goes to start. Like, we got to see really what Dak's up to.
What do you think about that situation there in Dallas, Dave? The CD Lamb is there, and I'm sure Pickens. If he thought he was his Pickens, excuse me for that pun, were slim in Pittsburgh. He's definitely going to be after CD Lamb in the rotation down here. So, how do you think this is going to be a fit for Dallas, Dave?
Well, on paper, it looks great. But then, what it comes down to, I think, is how is George going to fit in the Cowboys locker room? And that's where things behind the scenes can kind of unravel a little bit. But he's a really, really talented wide receiver. I mean, he's caught balls that not many other receivers, even elite receivers, could bring down.
Yeah, but he missed
But
three.
but
But he missed three in the title game that I could have caught.
Goodness.
well, that's one of the. There have been some simple drops that he's had, but they all have had bad games at one point or another. But he's a very talented receiver. The question is how does he fit into that locker room? And if the Cowboys are not playing very well, will he, how will he respond to that? Because he's a very competitive guy. The guy wants to win. That's what I liked about him. He's really competitive. He really wants to win. And if they're losing and if things aren't going well, then it'll be interesting to see how that works out. I hope that he does well. I don't have anything against the kid. I mean, everybody knew whenever he was drafted, they knew that he was kind of a head case. They showed the film of him in college, fighting with the defensive backs and all that. So this should be his personality should be no surprise to anybody. So
yeah, the guy that he fought with in Dallas got traded though, so he doesn't have to worry about that. I forget what that cornerback's name was, but he's no longer with Dallas, so.
But talent wise, I think it's a great fit. The only question I have is how does he fit into the locker room? And maybe maybe it's a locker room that he's going to love, and it works out good for him. I don't know. We'll just have to see. We'll find out by week 1, I think.
Don, did you find out anything on that Parsons deal?
No, I wasn't looking. But I think I want to say that
I was looking for it. I didn't see it.
I want to say that they worked out an agreement, but
they might have worked out an agreement, but they haven't put it down in pen and paper yet. Because
Jerry looking to overpay, just what Jerry's looking to do. Squeeze, see if Jerry can give away a little bit more money and just wait a little bit longer.
Well, Reggie, the Falcons, they boosted their defense. They traded up to get edge rusher James Pence Jr., and then they picked linebacker Jalen Walker. Reg, what's going on with your Falcons?
Very happy down here. Very happy fan base. I'm happy as well. We're addressing a side of the ball that's much need down here. So we've been looking for them to address it, and they did so in the draft. We took a couple safeties as well, and I'm hoping to. I'm hoping this works out. We got kind of dinged in some of the draft grades for trading up for Pierce, because a lot of people felt that we might have paid a little bit of a premium to do so. But if Pierce ends up being great, it won't be remembered as that. So I'm pretty excited. Just to see us trying to address the defense here. I'm pretty excited.
Have been any moves with Kurt? Is he on the shop? Is he on the trading block?
I don't think Kirk's. I don't. It doesn't seem like there's any movement. We're waiting for phone calls. It doesn't seem like there's any rush for movement either. There's been really no word on it. It's kind of this. Will he be here? Will he not be here? I guess we're just waiting for people to go through training camps and stuff now. But it's not really any motion on that.
Okay. Dave, we know now that we have traded Pickens, and he got traded to the Cowboys, which now I guess makes Metcalf our number one wide receiver. And then I didn't catch you guys Monday, but has there been any feelers at all out to Amari Cooper? He's still a free agent. Can be got probably for the veterans minimum. And we seem to be so quick, with our wide receiver, gets disgruntled, so they're moving right away. If there's some type of altercation with Tomlin or some of the players, the first thing they do is think about the harmony of the team. Dave, how long can we, keep playing limbo with ayahuasca? Either you come to camp or you don't. I mean, I know, he doesn't usually come to camp, but you're coming to a brand new team, brand new wide receivers who we don't even know who might be in the wide receiver room by the time he gets there. Uh, uh, are we being too lenient with ayahuasca, Dave?
All right. Well, you gave me a couple of things. For Anthony Manzana, he was asking about the trade. So the
You can
Steelers
address
got
him first. You can address Anthony first.
the Steelers got a 2026 third round pick, and then a 2027 fifth round pick, and Dallas got Pickens and a 2027 sixth round pick. So really what it comes down to is a third round pick for 2026 next season, which adds, when you add this to the potential compensatory picks that they're coming, that they could have like around 12 draft choices in 2026. And I think that they're bulking up on that so that they're able to trade up. They're going to have to be drafting a wide receiver. The whole trade, I just want to talk about the Pickens trade because it really threw a lot of people in Pittsburgh off. It's like, well, why did they wait till now? Why didn't they trade him during the draft? And I expect that they tried to trade him during the draft, but they couldn't find anybody that was willing to give him up what they were willing to part with him for. And, during the draft, I think that Pittsburgh kind of made it known that they were willing to part ways with Pickens, and teams are looking to get a bargain. And they weren't able to strike a deal during the draft, and this is the best they could do, was essentially a third round draft pick. And what it does, whether you like the guy or not, he's talented, and it creates another hole. Because you gave up a second round draft pick this year for DK Metcalf. And so you have your 1 and your 2 receiver between Metcalf and George Pickens. Well, now you've created a hole because now you don't have a number 2 wide receiver on the roster. They got they just signed what's his name, Robert Woods, but this guy's he's a number 3 or a number 4 receiver.
Yeah, he's a journeyman, man.
That's all he is. You got one thing they could do is they could stand pat and try to elevate Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson. Calvin Austin plays his best out of the slot, and Roman Wilson is unproven, because he was injured early in camp last year and played a total of 5 snaps during the season. So he's kind of unproven. So they have to fill the hole. So you mentioned you mentioned Amari Cooper. Just about the only other free agent wide receiver that there is Keenan Allen. And so, maybe they could sign one or the other.
Keenan is shot.
He had some glimpses. He had some glimpses last year where
Amari
he had some
Cooper's
games.
not far behind. The problem with both of them is they've had injury. Both of them have had injury problems. Both of them had an off year last year. Both of them in recent years had good years.
Amari played for Cleveland last year. How bad?
He only gained 500 yards, and they were slinging the ball an awful lot because they were playing from behind. And so, maybe I'm sure, Pittsburgh usually looks over every player. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're considering Amari Cooper or Keenan Allen. And if they feel that they're a fit, they'll sign them. It's not a matter of money. Money's not an issue. I think what the issue is do these players have the talent that they're seeking? Or are they a good fit for the team? And if they choose not to sign either one of them, then it sounds like what they're going to be trying to do is to go with the present wide receiver core, that's a problem. And so, one of the questions that Alex Kozora from Steelers Depot kind of raised is, well, what is Pittsburgh trying to do? Are they trying to win now, because since their defense is aging, or are they trying to rebuild the team? And what I said, my response to that question was, they're trying to do both.
Yes, it's yes, right. Yes,
but they risk accomplishing neither. And because if you're not all in on rebuilding, or not all in on winning now, well, and if you're trying to do both, well, you might fail at both. But I think that's what they're trying to do, is they're trying to be as competitive as they can for 2025, and they're holding out for 2026. But like if, as Donald says, if Arch Manning, if he stays at Texas, then that's one less quarterback that's going to be available in the 2026 draft, which is going to make it harder for the Steelers to reach a quarterback that they perceive to be the future of the team. So
let me ask you this then, Dave. I mean, like Mr. Scott, there are some fans that are calling for, Tomlin's, resignation or firing or whatever. But what about Omar Khan and some of the moves that he's made? I mean, like you said, you leave a hole here, you leave a hole there, you don't fill the hole this year. Is there any rumblings about Omar?
Well, what we're experiencing is the difference between Kevin Colbert and Omar Khan. Kevin Colbert is what I call a belt and suspenders guy. He would never leave anything open. But what that meant is that he tended to be much more conservative in his approach. Omar Khan is willing to leave a hole open to create an opportunity somewhere else down the line. And so he did that with Deontay Johnson last year, and that didn't work out. He never filled that hole. Looks like he's doing the same thing again this year. And his drafting has been better than Kevin Colbert's last couple seasons. But this is only the third draft class that Omar has had. But, one thing to remember, he's not a newbie with Pittsburgh. He's been with the Pittsburgh organization for over 20 years. He's been there longer than Tomlin. And a lot of people don't, they think, oh, he's a new guy. He's a new GM, but he's been with the team for over 20 years. And there's some rumors out there, there's some speculation that it was actually Mike Tomlin that pushed to trade Pickens. That it was Tomlin that kind of said it's time to cut bait with him. With Aaron Rodgers, I think I'm not going to worry about Aaron Rodgers until around the 27th of May. And the reason I use that date is that's when the Steelers are scheduled to go into their OTAs, or organized training activities. Now, if he's not available for that, then I think that there's a problem, and the Steelers are going to have to make a decision. Hey, do we try to go after somebody else? I think that, like, for example, for somebody like Kirk Cousins, I think that they would wait until after June 1st to make a play for him because then his dead money hit goes down, and they might be able to work out Atlanta might be more amenable to working out a deal for somebody like Kirk Cousins, or there's the few quarterbacks that are left in the free agent. And right now, Joe Flacco's under contract, so unless the Browns release him, he's not available, and they're not going to trade him to Pittsburgh.
You're not. Right.
They're going to ask for a king's ransom, and that's not going to happen. So the only way that Joe Flacco becomes available, I believe, is if Cleveland decides to release him, and then he becomes a free agent, and then the Steelers will sign him. And the same thing could happen during camp. There might be other quarterbacks that end up on the street that maybe they'll take a look at. But with Aaron Rodgers, I heard something about him getting married. I don't know, but I would say 27 May. That's the date on the calendar I would mark.
A bunch of free agent quarterbacks will come available just out of Cleveland alone. So take your pick. Joe Flacco.
That's a real situation. I'm really interested in that, as a matter of fact.
Joe Hayden out of Cleveland. Cleveland released Joe Hayden for cap purposes, and we got a couple Pro Bowl seasons out of him, and we're able to pick him up for nothing, right off in the street. But right now, honestly, the Pittsburgh situation, I think fans are really, really perplexed. It's really, really frustrating because there's like Sue said, we were talking about the wide receiver situation, and and I was saying, well, they got rid of George Pickens. That's one more person to throw to, and her response was, well, who's going to be throwing to him?
That's very true. If you're not taking care of that, it doesn't matter who's there.
Right? But gentlemen. When Minnesota would rather have Sam Howell than Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron's been holding out for the job for the longest. I don't care what you guys say.
Was Aaron going there? Was Aaron legit going to Minnesota?
What?
Was Aaron ever legit going to Minnesota? Was
not
in Minnesota's mind, but in Aaron's mind, that's who he was holding out for. He said,
in Aaron's mind, his deal for Minnesota is, I'll start for you next year and help bring along J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah.
Minnesota's thinking is no, we're ready to go with J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah. Why would you do that? It didn't have anything
to do with Sam Howell.
I wouldn't even bring Aaron Rodgers in. Right, for sure.
Do we bring Aaron Rodgers in and sit J.J. McCarthy for another year, or do we feel that J.J. McCarthy is ready to put out there? And obviously Minnesota is ready to put him out there.
Yeah, I don't think Aaron Rodgers would play more than 8 games anyway. He can't
more than 8 games.
He played 17 last year.
Yeah, he did. He played 17 last year, and what was the Jets' record last year? 4 and what?
I think he's not all totally washed. I just think for me, the perplexing thing is that it's a lot of eggs that put into a basket that we know is a temporary basket. We know this is it's a very temporary situation. So it's like putting a ton of we're going to spend all our money on this small used tire or this donut tire. Then we know we got to get a bigger tire eventually, but we're going to put all our eggs into this one.
Basically, a retread.
Correct. And we're hoping that it takes us the distance, and we know it won't. We all know it won't. So it's kind of that's the frustration part for me personally.
Yeah, and we don't know how long that tread is going to stay on there. It could come right off. He might not last that long. I predicted all along last year that he wouldn't finish the season, but he did. And he is a competitive guy. He can still throw the ball.
Yeah, he can throw it.
So Pittsburgh's they've really put themselves into a bad position, and we'll just have to see. I do like that they got Will Howard was on Ben Roethlisberger's show, his podcast, so that they had both Will Howard and Jack Frazier on there. And I was
Well,
impressed with Will Howard.
I think Will Howard is our quarterback of the future. All he needs, but he needs a little work, especially his footwork. But
I mean, but that's a solid statement, though, James. That's a good statement to make. I mean, if you feel like if you have that confidence,
he's a national champion. He's a national champion. I mean, I think
he wasn't a bum. He wasn't a bum.
No,
he wasn't terrible.
And I mean, but he wasn't throwing the bums either. Just like he won't
That's
be throwing.
True. We don't have that squad. We don't have that set of receivers running around here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the thing about Will Howard, he was a much better quarterback at Ohio State than he was at Kansas State.
Yeah, when he talked about that. I mean, what he said is when he went to Kansas State, he has a chip on his shoulder. He wanted Penn State all along. That's where he wanted to go. He wasn't even offered a scholarship there. And so then it came down to, he only had like 4 or 5 offers in Kansas. It came down to Kansas or Kansas State because the other ones had other quarterbacks there. And he opted for Kansas State, and he appreciated it. And he said, he really developed there as a person, but it was Ohio. He credited Ohio State with developing him as a quarterback. Nice. And Ben kind of asked him about, I guess it was the game against Oregon, that they lost. I think he tried to run the ball and got stuffed on there. And he said, he goes, he has to learn from that. And he goes, one of the things I've had is I've been able to build up a lot of experiences that I've been able to learn from competing at that level. Competing at the level he has. And I liked when he had to say. And so I'm hoping he's a diamond. Nobody's expecting anything out of him, but I'm hoping that he has a little chip on his shoulder, just like Shedeur Sanders should have a chip on his shoulder. And he proves it. And, he's already come to Pittsburgh, went to a Pirates game. The first thing he did was to call the quarterback's coach after he got drafted, requested the playbook, and the quarterback coach was, well, we were going to give you the couple days, and he goes, no, send it now. So this guy's he's smart. He's a smart kid, a country club kid, but he's a smart kid, and he sounds like he's doing the right thing. So I'm hoping that he develops into something for Pittsburgh. That would be a coup if that happened.
Well, I'm expecting him to be a diamond in the rough. Maybe not a Tom Brady type, but I think he will definitely develop. Dave, who won the trade between the Cowboys and the Steelers, or at least on paper? Who do you think?
Well, I mean, of course, time will tell. I mean, that's going to say. But I mean, I would say right now, Dallas. I would give Dallas the edge on it, simply because they gave up a 3rd-round pick. If for some reason it doesn't work out and he becomes a free agent, more than likely he'll comp out as a 3rd or 4th-round pick. So it's almost a wash for them. In a way, so I would say value-wise, and they got a good guy, and so Pittsburgh got draft capital for next year. So for 2025, I think Dallas made out. For 2026, I think that depending on how George Pickens does, I think that Dallas made out in the deal. Now, if Pickens flames out, if if his antics, one of the things that Tomlin has been able to do, like he's had people like AB. Nobody else could coach AB, and Tomlin did, I thought, a really great job. I mean, people didn't even realize he was a problem, even though there were players. I think it was was it Ryan Clark or Ike Taylor that his first season said this guy's a problem, and that was
That
Matt.
Ryan Clark.
Ryan Clark, yeah, and it was Matt for years, and so. But if George Pickens gives Dallas a couple good seasons, I think Dallas made out big time over Pittsburgh on this particular trade.
Rich, what do you think?
Echo that sentiment because I think the risk reward is there for Dallas. Like you gave up a third round, but Pickens from a talent standpoint is much better than third round talent. So you got a better talent back. Now, can you deal with the mental stuff and kind of channel that talent is kind of what it in see if you can keep the guy happy. I think that's going to be the biggest issue you're dealing with. But if it doesn't work out, like it's like a third round, you're giving up its potential, and for Pittsburgh, it's potential. But Dallas got a pretty good player. I thought at his time, I'm not really super in love with Pickens. I didn't necessarily was sad to see him go, but at the end of the day, the talent is still undeniable. And I think that if they can channel it, if any team can channel it, it'll pay dividends for them.
Okay. All right.
What's the reaction in Dallas, Don?
Well, I don't know about Dallas, but Dallas fans, we're thinking that Pittsburgh got the better deal. I'm just speaking, from heart.
What's the logic there?
Well, it's just you're giving up some you're giving up some capital, some draft choices for a guy who might commit an axe murder in the locker room. You just don't know. I mean, I'm being facetious, of course, but I'm just saying it's
You guys had Michael Irving there. He literally stabbed a teammate in a barber chair in Dallas.
That's
right.
True. That's true.
Beloved player, beloved Mike, beloved player there.
But you know what? Homicidal tendency aside, I love Michael Irvin. I just, for some reason,
he's great. I think he's a great person. But I mean, I guess he got the story I heard was it was like a first year player or a rookie, and it's like, well, how come you're in front of me? And the guy was already in the barber chair, wouldn't get out of the barber chair, and then he ended up picking up a pair of scissors and sticking them in the side of the neck.
Well, you
My
gotta
turn.
keep in mind,
Like that's crazy.
You gotta keep in mind, Michael Irvin was just coming out of Miami, and there was
a madhouse there, man.
There was a
madhouse.
There was that. What's that stuff called that you snort? Cocaine. Yeah, that was a part of the problem. Also, he'll tell you, yeah, because I was snorting.
It wasn't just in Miami, Don. Come on now, the Dallas locker room was pretty.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying you had Russell Maryland, you had Michael Irvin. Who else was from Miami? They had like 3 or 4 Miami guys in there, so they brought that with them. Some of that Tony Montana candy.
Last question here, guys, before we get out of here. Hey, it's only 7:00. I know, Dave, you'll be glad we're out early today. But what do you guys think about the Patriots finally retiring Julian Edelman's number?
Is that for me? I mean, I don't really have any thoughts on that. I mean, we've seen what's going on in Colorado in these number retirements. It's just I don't know anymore, man. We're just and you know what? If you hadn't even said that, I probably would have assumed that it was already retired. I mean, congratulations to Julian for sure. Great congratulations.
Honestly, and a lot of Pittsburgh fans wouldn't agree with this. I liked it better when Pittsburgh only had one number retired, and it was a player nobody ever even heard of, Ernie Stotner, who I loved. He played from 1950 to 1963. Great player. he was German. He was actually born in Germany. And that was the only number for the longest time that they ever had retired. Now, I'm not going to, Franco Harris, Joe Green, I mean, come on. But I was actually happier when the Steelers didn't have any of those players' numbers retired. They unofficially had them retired. They wouldn't issue their number. But, it gets to the point of, you have so many great players, when do you stop?
Yeah,
It's a great problem to have. It's a great problem. I wish we had that problem in Atlanta, and we do not. We have plenty of space here left up in the rafters.
Well, Dave, final thoughts, my man.
Well, final thoughts. I've just been, it's been kind of interesting that this is supposed to be the slow time for the NFL. And for me, it's kind of been fascinating with what's been going on with the lack of signing a quarterback, with trading a wide receiver. It's going to be really, really interesting to see how Pittsburgh, whether they can put a competitive roster together for 2025. And so for me, this is just a fascinating time of year. It's the off time of the year, but this is a very key time, because this is when teams are assembling the 90 players that they're going to try to mold into a 53-man roster. And it's kind of fun to be a part of.
I guess fun is one word. Okay. Don.
So my final thoughts, I have actually two, if y'all will humor
We
me.
got plenty. We got plenty of time. Go ahead, Don.
So Greg Popovich finally stepped down.
Legend to him.
And so they gave him the opportunity to pick a successor. He's stepping down as head coach. He's still president of the organization. So he picked Mitch Johnson to be his successor, and I think they have a nucleus of a good team coming back next year. So hopefully we'll see a return to the Spurs glory days. And then also going back to NFL, and I heard this on the radio coming in, because I listen to a lot of sports talk, podcasts, whatever. The 2027 draft is going to be held at the National Mall in D.C.
Interesting.
Yeah, the government's paying all this stuff because it's the 250th anniversary of whatever. Anyway, so I think the thing that's cool about that is, the Washington Mall can hold a shitload of people. I mean, it
was a million man march.
Million Man
I
March.
was there. I was at the Million Man March.
They had I think they had 2 million hippies there back in Vietnam days. So, but a guy pointed out, he goes, the 2027 draft, the number one pick will probably be Arch Manning.
Yeah,
so
sure.
the number one offensive player will probably be Arch Manning. The number two will probably be Anthony Hill, who's a linebacker at Texas. So can you imagine, over 1 million people on the mall, and Texas gets like 2 of the top 5 picks? That's gonna be glorious. So that's just something about. I know it's very far in the future, but it made me think.
Well, Don, you've had your traveling shoes on. You've been all over Texas.
What's that?
I said you've had your traveling shoes on. You've been all over Texas. I've been following you on Facebook.
Oh yeah. I took my not so much Texas, just local stuff. San Antonio. My fiance, she's been here for 8 years, but she really hasn't explored the city, and so I took her to one of my little favorite breakfast places there on the river, and we like to explore. We go out on the mission trails and walk and see the old missions, and
Nice.
when you meet that person that is meant for you. So I came home from work the other day, and I don't know if y'all told you, but she's a native of Mexico. She's a Mexicana. Well, I come home from work and she's watching TV, What you watching? A World War II documentary. And I'm like, because
Did you start crying, Don? Did you start
I
crying
did. I
right
said,
then
"Oh,
when
man."
you teared
Yeah,
up,
so
had to go,
I'm like,
get yourself together?
So because I love military history, and so wow, that's meant for me. I came home and she's watching this documentary about the World War II Nazis and Hitler and all this stuff. Like, okay, let me pour myself a drink and sit down and join you.
Very nice.
So that's all the final thoughts.
uh, but hey, yeah, good seeing you smiling and happy, Don. So
Oh yeah, I'm happy.
Reggie, we don't have a lot of time for usually you to sign us off. So come on, my man.
I
Your
have a
time.
very quick final thought, and it's going to be the same final thought until we get this situation worked out here in Pittsburgh, and that is let's go, Will Howard. Let's go, Will. That's all I got. Until I mean, this could be amended later. We'll see what Aaron wants to do, but right now, let's go, Will, guys. Let's go, Will.
Yeah, I think we have to go with Will, at least on a developmental basis. But hey, I was satisfied with the draft. Even our sixth and 7th round picks. I think that at least one of them will make the 53-man roster, and I'm interested to see exactly which one pans out. So, hey guys, good hanging out with you this Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and cheers. Hey.
All right. See you later,
Good
guys.
night, guys.
All right, ciao.